Welcome back to the Daily Five Podcast. It's your host, Rainey Cage. And if you don't know this already, I'm a huge fan of Survivor. Yes, the reality show on CBS. I think it's the greatest reality show ever made. And I've watched it religiously for many seasons, all the way back since probably to like season 7 is when I started watching it live. I've since gone back and rewatched seasons. I have my favorite characters. Russell Hantz is probably my favorite character of all time, but that's not what we're going to talk about. Today we're going to talk about season 35, Heroes, Hustlers. Oh my goodness, no. Season 35, Heroes, Healers, and Hustlers. I think that's the official title. They revealed the cast. They all had their little videos. I went through and watched all the videos because I'm a geek like that. I was going to run through the people, what I kind of took some notes, and who I like. Who I think might make it far, that kind of stuff. It looks like the next 2 seasons are going to be all new cast, which I do like that as well. We got to get some fresh blood in there. But let's get into it. We have Ben. He's an ex-Marine. He seemed very humble, a very country boy, and because what he wants to do with his winnings, he wants a new truck, and he's just going to invest that money into his farm or something. So, or his ranch, I think he said. He could do pretty good. We had Chrissy. She was a mathematician. She repeated many times during her video that she's very smart. I put on my notes, I get it. You're smart. I don't know if I'm gonna like her very much. She just over and over again, I'm smart. Just because I'm a woman, I'm smart. Yeah, we get it. You're smart. John Paul, or JP, he's a firefighter. Seemed like he had good moral character. He said, I'm not a hero. It's just another job. He has a dog named Thor, which I thought was pretty funny. And he wants to help his sister with a blood disorder. That's what he wants to spend the money on. He seemed okay. We had Cole. He is a rock climber, a nature guide. He works with disadvantaged youth. He's used to being outdoors for long periods of time. He specifically mentions in his video how he stays out in the desert for weeks and weeks on end. So that's going to come in handy for him. He lives in his car by choice. And when he wins the money, he wants to buy a bigger van to live in. Don't know what that's about, but okay. We had Rorik, a college student, low-income high school therapist, says she's bossy. So that might hurt her a little bit. Nobody likes the bossy people on the island. And she says she's weird and not sexy, so she's not going to use her sexiness to, or she doesn't really consider herself sexy. She's not going to use that as her advantage. We had Ashley, a lifeguard captain. She didn't like her desk job, so she just quit it and decided to become a lifeguard. Must be nice when you can do stuff like that. She seemed kind of laid back. She did mention in her thing, a lot of the girls on this show this season seem to do that she doesn't need a man. She's the alpha. So that'll be interesting. She did seem kind of, very athletic. Lauren, fisherman, single mom, she said she was set in her way. She was a neat freak. She said she wasn't petite. She was like a linebacker from the Dallas Cowboys, which made me laugh. But she seems like the kind of person that is going to be like first out kind of person. She didn't seem very athletic, so I could see her getting the quick, easy first vote out. That's what I put here in my notes. I feel like she'd be the first one out. Katrina, she's a former Olympian, sports psychologist. She's a mother. She loves to swim. She mentioned swimming multiple times. She said she's intense and unique, likes to meditate, and wants to test herself. She didn't seem like she really cared about winning that money. She just wanted to test herself. Another person, I don't know. We'll see. It seemed like she might be a little bossy, but who knows. Desi, professor, physical therapist. She said she's a thrill seeker, can be flirty, but she also mentioned that she was scared of living outside in the wilderness. So, that might be, she mentioned the creatures and the storms, and that might be a problem for her. Simone, she was a diversity advocate, whatever the heck that is. I put what? She said she likes to coalition build. Again, I put question marks. She said she's honest with her feelings and likes constructive confrontation, and confident in her looks. And then she, after all that liberal nonsense, she starts to act like she's a villain and puts in that she's going to use information like a weapon. I put in big parentheses, I was not a fan. Yeah, I didn't like her very much at all. Joe, a probation officer, high-risk offenders. He kind of reminded me of Tony a little bit. He didn't really know how to swim, kind of has self-taught himself here recently. He mentioned how he wants to be a master manipulator. He said people are gullible. They bond too quickly to people they just met. That's a good point. I like Joe. I feel like he could go pretty far. Patrick, business owner. He was very low-key, very soft-spoken. Small business owner, moving company, hard worker. He mentions that he's a redhead, so he burns easily. He said he was outgoing. He doesn't trust anybody. And he mentioned that this is not a game of honesty. True. Mike, this is might be the most interesting character of all these. He's a urologist. He seemed really nerdy. He reminded me of Cochran. He's a Super Survivor fan. They named one of their kids Ethan off of season 3. I'm old, but I have an advantage in knowledge and experience. He could easily be knocked out right at the beginning, or he could go far. He could work his way in there. He's an older dude, so we'll have to see. Jessica, this was somebody I didn't really know anything about. Really liked her, though. Nurse practitioner. She's a Kentucky girl, so obviously I like her. She's lived in Kentucky the last 10 years. She was pretty hot. She loves going to the gym. She said she talks too much and cries often. She's emotional. She also mentions being a Christian. Jessica, I liked. I liked a good Kentucky girl in Survivor. We've had some prominent Kentuckians in Survivor. Ryan is a bellhop. He said it's really fun to talk to strangers. He mentions how skinny he is. He had a speech impediment, so now he likes to be as well-spoken as possible. Once he fixed his speech impediment, he mentions that he's going to be the first to wear a red turtleneck on the island. Okay. And then he also mentions he's going to bring his dad to the island, or he wants to. That's like his goal, is to bring his dad to the island. We had Devin, a surf instructor, another guy I just didn't seem to like, because he goes out of his way. He's like, oh yeah, I'm not just a surfer, bro. I'm going to play dumb. People are going to think I'm just a burnout surfer bum. But, he talks like a surfer bum would. And guess what he does? He's a surf instructor. So, yeah, I think he's going to be one of them characters that shouldn't go that far. We had Allie, a celebrity assistant. She said she was a celebrity assistant for some YouTuber I've never heard of. She likes to meet interesting, diverse people. She misses her own diversity. She said she doesn't want to play too aggressive. She kind of wants to play down the middle. That works a lot of the time, so that might be good for her. Alan, this is the final one. Ex-NFL player. He says he doesn't consider himself that big of a celebrity. He doesn't think anybody will recognize him unless they're just a super fan of the teams he played on. He played on a bunch of different teams. He said he had a temper, especially when he's hungry. Well, that's not going to be good, because he's going to be hungry. But anyways, I know this video went over a little long, but I wanted to get through everybody. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of a few of them, particularly the ones who go out of their way, like the one Chrissy who was like, I'm smart, over and over again. I wasn't a big fan of Simone. Her whole thing, her career makes no sense to me. But Mike and Joe, those are the two I'm kind of feeling right now. And then, of course, Jessica, because she's a Kentucky girl. But yeah, I'm pumped for the next season of Survivor. How about you guys? We're getting ready to start here towards the end of September is when we're getting started. Interested to see all this new blood. Until next time, this is Randy Cage. Peace out.